Hello, my name is Gary, and I was raised in the Western United States, so I'm a native English speaker. I hope that you will enjoy this YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us.
Full moon, quarter moon, an Indian fairy tale. Birbal once visited Persia at the invitation of its king. He was honored with grand parties and showered with lavish gifts. The night before he was set to return home, a nobleman asked how he would compare the king of Persia to his own king. Birbal replied, "Your king is like the full moon, while mine is like a quarter moon." The Persians were delighted by this comparison. When Birbal returned home, he found Emperor Akbar furious. Akbar demanded angrily, "How could you belittle your own king? You are a traitor." Birbal calmly explained, "No, your majesty, I did not belittle you. What I meant was that the full moon wanes and eventually disappears, while the quarter moon grows day by day. I was actually saying that your power is increasing every day, while the king of Persia's power is declining." Akbar, satisfied with this explanation, welcomed Birbal back with a warm embrace.
The choice of Birbal. One day, Emperor Akbar asked Birbal what he would choose if given a choice between justice and a gold coin. "The gold coin," replied Birbal. Akbar was astonished. "You would choose a gold coin over justice?" he asked in disbelief. "Yes, your majesty," said Birbal. The other courtiers were equally stunned by Birbal's apparent foolishness. For years they had tried to undermine Birbal's reputation in the emperor's eyes without success, and now Birbal seemed to have done it himself. They could hardly believe their luck. "I would have been disappointed if even the lowest of my servants had said this," continued the emperor. "But from you? It's shocking and sad. I didn't know you were so corrupt." "One only asks for what one lacks, your majesty," Birbal said quietly. "You have ensured that justice is available to everyone in our country. Since justice is already available to me, I often find myself short of money. I chose the gold coin." The emperor was so pleased with Birbal's explanation that he gave him not just 1, but 1,000 gold coins.
Birbal's sweet reply. Akbar liked to ask his courtiers unusual questions for his own amusement. One day he came into the royal court, took his place in his royal chair and posed a question to his courtiers. What punishment should be given to someone who pulls my moustache? One courtier suggested he should be beheaded. Another proposed he should be flogged. Yet another said he should be hanged. Turning to Birbal, the emperor asked, "What do you think, Birbal?" Birbal paused for a moment, then replied, "Your majesty, he should be given sweets." "What, Birbal? Have you lost your mind? Do you know what you're saying?" Birbal calmly responded, "I'm not mad, your majesty. I know exactly what I'm saying." "Then why would you suggest that?" the emperor asked, clearly irritated. Birbal replied, "Because, your majesty, only someone as bold as your grandson would dare to do such a thing." Pleased with Birbal's clever response, Akbar rewarded him with his ring.
The 17 Camels and 3 Sons. A long time ago, an old man lived with his 3 sons in a remote village near a desert. He owned 17 camels, which were crucial for his livelihood as he rented them out for desert transport. After he passed away, he left a will specifying how his assets should be divided among his 3 sons. Once the funeral and related duties were completed, the sons read the will. Although their father had divided his property into 3 equal parts, he had given specific instructions for dividing the 17 camels, which was not straightforward due to the number being both odd and prime. The will stated that the eldest son should receive half the 17 camels, the middle son 1/3, and the youngest son 1/9. The sons were puzzled. It seemed impossible to divide 17 camels in such a way, as no clear method existed to split them into these fractions. After several days of unsuccessful attempts, the sons sought help from the village wise man. The wise man listened to their dilemma and quickly devised a solution. He instructed them to bring all 17 camels to him. When the camels arrived, the wise man added one of his own, bringing the total to 18. He then asked the oldest son to read the will. According to the will, the eldest son should receive half of the 18 camels, which equals 9 camels. So the eldest son received 9 camels. This left 9 camels remaining. Next, the wise man asked the middle son to read the will. He was to receive 1/3 of the 18 camels, which is 6 camels. Thus the middle son got 6 camels. The remaining camels totaled 3. The wise man then instructed the youngest son to read his share, which was 1/9 of the 18 camels, amounting to 2 camels. The youngest son received 2 camels. In total, the sons received 9 plus 6 plus 2 equals 17 camels perfectly, matching the original number. The wise man then took back his camel, leaving the sons with their shares as dictated by the will. Indeed, every problem has a solution when approached with ingenuity.
The Emperor's Dream, an Indian fairy tale. One night, Emperor Akbar had a disturbing dream in which he lost all his teeth except one. Troubled by this unusual vision, he gathered all the astrologers in his kingdom the following morning to seek their interpretation. After a lengthy deliberation, the astrologers interpreted the dream as a prophecy that all of Akbar's relatives would pass away before him. Distressed by this prediction, Akbar sent the astrologers away without any reward. Later that day, Akbar recounted his dream and the astrologers' interpretation to Birbal. After thoughtful consideration, Birbal reassured him, saying, "Your Majesty, the dream suggests that you will live a longer and more fulfilling life than your relatives." Relieved by Birbal's interpretation, Akbar generously rewarded him. Birbal had conveyed the same message as the astrologers, but in a tactful and intelligent manner. Only one question. A scholar from a distant land once visited Akbar's court, proclaiming his intelligence and asserting that no one could answer his questions. He challenged Birbal to respond to his question and prove he was the wisest. "Would you rather answer 100 easy questions or a single difficult one?" the scholar asked haughtily. Akbar sensed the scholar's intent to demean Birbal. With confidence, Birbal replied, "Ask me just one difficult question." "Very well. Tell me, what came first, the chicken or the egg?" the scholar demanded in a booming voice. "The chicken," Birbal responded. "How do you know?" the scholar asked sarcastically. "We agreed you would ask only one question, and you have done so," Birbal replied. The Pot of the Wit. Once, Emperor Akbar became very angry with his favorite minister, Birbal. In his fury, he ordered Birbal to leave the kingdom immediately. Obeying the emperor's command, Birbal left and began working on a farm in a distant, unknown village, living under a different identity. As months went by, Akbar began to miss Birbal. He struggled to resolve many issues in the empire without Birbal's wise counsel and regretted his decision to banish him in anger. Akbar sent his soldiers to search for Birbal, but they couldn't find him. No one knew where Birbal was. Then Akbar came up with a clever plan. He sent a message to the head of every village, instructing them to send a pot filled with wit to the emperor. If they couldn't fill the pot with wit, they were to fill it with diamonds and jewels. This message also reached the village where Birbal was living. The villagers gathered together, puzzling about what to do. Wit isn't something you can put in a pot. How will we find diamonds and jewels to fill the pot and send to the emperor? They wondered. Birbal, who was among them, spoke up. Give me the pot. I'll fill it with wit within a month. Trusting him, the villagers agreed, still unaware of his true identity. Birbal took the pot and returned to his farm, where he had planted watermelons. He selected a small watermelon and, without cutting it from the vine, placed it inside the pot. He cared for it diligently, watering and fertilizing it regularly. In a few days, the watermelon grew to fill the pot completely, making it impossible to remove without breaking the pot. When the watermelon had grown to the size of the pot, Birbal cut it from the vine and sent the pot to Emperor Akbar with a message. Please remove the wit from the pot without cutting it into pieces or breaking the pot. Seeing the watermelon inside the pot, Akbar realized this clever solution could only be Birbal's idea. He personally went to the village and brought Birbal back with him.